Alright, welcome to Grime Fantasy Wars Core Rules Demo Game Dev Vlog Part 1. I'm using today, the current version is 0.05, but I'll be updating in the next month or two, adding a lot more rules than currently in. You can get the game on my Colts 3D for free right now, so go and download it. I'll leave a link below. Let's get into it. So all of this is placeholder art, or it's like just stuff I've thrown together pretty quickly. All content is subject to change and not reflective of the final product. That is kind of it's a demo, so also print for personal use. Please don't pirate it. I mean, it's free. So, but it doesn't mean it's like, you can make profit off it. Alright, let's get started. The content of the pack is let's have a look around. So, we have, what's free? You get, there's 6 models in the whole thing. So, get archers. Oh my god, this Colts is a bit laggy. Got archers, spearmen, and scouts for both factions. So you got the Nezumi patrol, and then you got the undead or the risen patrol. And these are kind of the two base factions for my game. I do plan on doing stuff that isn't rats, which is Nezumi is just Japanese for rats, by the way. So the recommended the recommended army composition, you want to print 10 bows or crossbows of each faction, 10 spears, or like spear warders. There's no shields in the demo in the free version, but you can buy the STL pack with the extra poses and whatnot, and they have the shields. I'll be adding stats for that later, currently, and also we got a 5 scouts for each faction, so it should be approximately 25 models, not approximately, exactly 25 models. If you want to play the demo as is, you might want to buy the extra models and print more up, so you probably want to double this to like at least 50 models aside to get maybe a better idea of how the game demo plays. Sorry. There is also a rocky hill I put in there, but you're probably better off making your own hill, because the rocky hill I put in there was kind of rushed, and it's basically blocked on 3 sides when it should have been blocked on 2. I might remake that or make a different one. It will print the hill, but it's not included in the renders. You also get the tokens, which I'll get to a later date. There's 4 trees in there as well. Well, actually, print 4 trees. There's 2 trees that are similar to the FDM pack that I'm also selling, which has got more variety of trees. I might add some more trees to that pack later. And also you want to print off about 20 of the D8 dice. So there's these dice will print on an FDM printer. You might have to, if you want to print them with resin, it's probably not advised because they'll chip. But yeah, you want to print these on an FDM printer and then paint the numbers with like a white paint, or do the opposite. You print a white dice and paint it with black, the numbers with a dark color. But yeah, you can order packs of D8s, like a pack of 10 D8s online for like $20, like off like Team or like the cheap Chinese sites where they just have bulk dice, and it's not super hard to get D8s, and this is a D8 system. I'm not changing it. I do like the idea of a D8. I feel like it works better for war games. Like this, like the only reason that previous war games go off a D6 system is that it's just D6s existed. I think they're probably like 90% of the dice market out there, But I think there's a strong contender with D8s as the next dice up. There's more chance for randomization. There's more chance for buffering in the rules. There's more chance, like, it just makes more sense than a D6 for like random variation of like different troops. You could have something that has a 7-up attack or an 8-up attack, and it's just like it. The numbers just feel like a little bit like you got more to work with basically. And as you'll see later on, when we get to it, I might not get to it in this video, but yeah, the dice does matter. With the way this game, it'll probably play a lot different to other war games, and I'm hoping it's going to be something that people get addicted to. I guess people like, but yeah, let's just get started on the standard army size and compositions. I kind of I like the idea of balancing the game similar to an RTS rather than a war game, where a war game, like previous war games, they'll just have like a bunch of core units and then special units, and nothing really counts as anything. So my army, in my game, you want to build your army to counter. You don't want to go too heavy on, like, say archers to counter infantry. Like, if you go too far one way, it's just you're gonna get crushed by a cavalry army. So you kind of want to have to like cover your own weaknesses just enough that you can make your strengths really kind of flourish. And it's, in theory, this should be a much more balanced game than any other war game out there. But all right, let's. So yeah, the standard demo is 10 archers, 10 infantry, 10 cavalry. If you really want to, with the free SDRs, you could probably double it to like 20. But I mean, if you're gonna print that many, you might as well buy the army bundle, the army packs, the infantry pack, and the cavalry's to be released. I'm releasing the the skeleton horse cavalry on my Patreon right now. I'll leave a link in the description for that too. But that'll be moving off Patreon on the 25th, and then the regular living Nezumi cavalry will be going up on Patreon this month on the 25th, and then yeah, basically everything cycles off on and off there on the 25th. Well, at least I want to try and keep it that, maybe 25th to 30th. Like, depends if I'm late or I have to. Yeah, like sometimes life gets in the way, but I will try and release everything either bi-monthly is guaranteed, or I'm trying to aim for monthly, but it's like super difficult to get at least something out. It might be right either early access to rules or a character, like a Patreon exclusive character that month. If it's a really slow month, then I have to like because writing the rules takes like a month. Sorry, I'm getting sidetracked here. So yeah, the limitations. Maybe I should put this. These are like examples of core units. But the idea is you want at least 10% cavalry, 10% archers, 10% infantry as like a minimum base. So you've got like a nice even spread. Except in certain armies that might have like they might have a replacement for that. So there'll be like 10% of something else. But they'll have at least 3 different unit types that are in the 3 primary core or non-core. So yeah, is this? Did I read this right? Oh yeah, the 3 primary core units, none can exceed 60% or be less than 10%. So yeah, like I said before, the 10% cavalry or 10% archers, 10% infantry, and then you could have, well, I don't think I'd go as high as 70%, like monsters and siege. That would be a bit much. So it's kind of it's probably going to be more like somehow the bare minimum 50. The bare minimum would have to add up to at least 50 or 60%. We'll see how the balancing goes later Currently, there is no gold system in place. We're just counting the cavalry as 2 models and the infantry and archers as 1 model. I will be adding in the next update. I'll be adding magic, siege, and hopefully points, as well as a bunch more army variations. Not army variations, unit variations. Like it would be the counter units and whatnot. I need to write up the stat sheets for those. There's the stuff that you print in here for free is actually all the stat sheets are in here. It's about 6, I think, plus some army rules. So yeah, counter. So yeah, you have your 3 primary core units: the infantry, archers, and cavalry, and then you have counter units. The composition of the counter units will be up to 50%. So you could have 50% archers as part of your 50% of your archer. You can have up to 60% of your army be ranged units, but up to 50% of those can be counter archers, which will be like skirmishers or maybe like ninjas or something with ranged weapons. So you'd still have 25%. Sorry. If it's a 60%, you still have 30% archers and then 30% counter archers or skirmishers. Then you have the infantry. You'd have 30%. It'd be, if it was 60% infantry, 30% would be standard infantry counter with spears that counter cavalry, and then you have like another, like the other 50%, which would be 30% of 60, would be these numbers are really confusing. It would be like 30% would be counter infantry, which would be infantry with swords, which do they deal bonus damage. So I completely gone over, but haven't gone over, missed the fact that so in this game, at least when you basically everything's like a triad or a counter triad. So you have like one unit counters the other. It basically everything has like a stat line, and then you do like a bonus damage when you're hitting the counter, or if you get like a bonus for charging down a hill or something. That's all explained further down. Standard army size. This is kind of a guess. You probably wouldn't want to print this many. 30 is like what is recommended that you print with the free stuff. If you want to start printing a proper army, I recommend buying the other STLs and then print to a larger size. And this is just if you wanted to test it with the game demo with more models. But I recommend start printing with shields and stuff at that stage if you go to 100 models. Because the recruits are good as chaff units, but they're not really, and they're good for testing the game, but they're not really good for playing. They're going to be a bit weak when I start amping up the power levels a little bit with the elite units and whatnot coming in the hopefully the next couple of months ago, next year or two. Because so yeah, the standard core units, like I said, the core units counter each other. So the archers, they deal +1 damage to infantry. Infantry deal +1 damage to cavalry. This will be stated as spear infantry counters your standard infantry, and then the swords, axes, and short weapons counters your counter infantry. So they're still technically infantry, but they counter infantry. So, and a bulkier army will be the first 3. Infantry counters cavalry. Cavalry has speed. They deal +1 to archers. They also have the ability to perform a powerful skimming attack, which is they can run past and do flanking maneuvers. I'm trying to mix up. A lot of war games, the cavalry just charge in and die. And they're used as chaff, and I'm like, why would you use cavalry like that? Nobody in historical warfare used cavalry to maybe if there was they were locked in a hammer and anvil, with the Romans, but in real life, majority of the time, the cavalry were used to just run past and harass enemy units and scare them more than actually running in and crushing them. Like maybe the cataphracts, like fully armored cavalry with full barding, those would charge in, and those would be like your elite. I do plan on making some heavy cavalry eventually, but so far there's only light cavalry in the game. So yeah, counter archers, they'll have like javelins or slingshots, and usually counter archers will probably have shields, even though some archers, like the crossbow and Nezumi, are probably going to give them shield abilities, but they'll be like archers that aren't really proper counter archers, they just happen to have a shield. It's more about the weapon type with the javelins and slings, and this will be in their stat sheets, whether they're archers or counter archers. Some of the counter infantry, +1 versus infantry, but it's important to note that when they become a counter archer, they lose their bonus to infantry. When they become a counter infantry, they lose their bonus to cavalry, and some of the cavalry I'm not sure what was gonna cavalry. They gain bonus, yeah. So like heavy cavalry, honestly, I think the cataphracts will be more counter. Like heavy cavalry, I'll probably end up being counter cavalry. So they'll gain that extra damage versus infantry, and they lose that the archer bonus because maybe the archers are like a bit more light. They can dodge a. You kind of have to like suspend disbelief that count, because obviously like heavy cavalry probably be able to. It might, depending on the cavalry, might have them deal damage to archers and infantry. Like there's definitely going to be units that can do both. But those will be your more like elite units, and they might not count for the core units unless there are like certain unit types, certain race or faction bonuses that can have that. Future editions, the current edition of the game doesn't have characters or unique unit types, but these will definitely fit within the core units. And also there isn't, we don't have a gold system, or I'm not sure if I want to go with gold or silver or something. Just on a sip of coffee. Alright, so I kind of want to wrap this part up because this is like, I'm not sure how many videos I can get out of this. It's easier to break these down into videos, multiple videos, than try and explain all the rules at once and have like nobody watch it. But yeah, I'll be adding stat sheets for monsters, siege, mages like sorcerers, and there'll be magic, and they'll fit within certain categories. There's going to be the siege category is going to be at the end, so the siege category is going to be like its own thing. Monsters will be they'll fit in so like if it's a melee like monsters always, they tend to go after like the first unit term. Maybe I'll probably get into this later as like a different, they'll fit in here somewhere in the way the game rules out, and I'll get into that probably more once I explain how the core rules actually work. But yeah, so far this is the just the basic explanation of how the armies are set up. In the next video, I'll probably start getting a bit more into the actual rules, what's the game setup. I'll do that next. I want to break these into a few videos, and I want to try and I might just put out like 3 or 4 videos on the core rules, slowly do some updates on this. I just want to be, basically I want to have this stuff published in multiple places. So yeah, if you want to just skip forward and just download, you can download it for free on my Cults 3D page at Lifeguard Leroy. There will be, I'll put links down there, or if you want to join the Patreon and help out the game, that'd be great. I'm not too sure on like whether I'll actually be doing, I don't know how much YouTube I'll be doing. I'll be trying to make I'll definitely be doing game dev vlogs for this game, but I'm not too sure. Eventually the plan is to make battle reports, but I don't know if I can get that far. But yeah, hope to see you in future. Thanks for watching and check out the game. Links below. Thanks.